So the book I want to talk about today is a book that made me realize that I don't have a magnifying glass. And boy, howdy, do I wish I did, because that would have made this probably a little bit easier. So the book I want to talk about is Rusty Brown by Chris Ware. This is the first Chris Ware book that I have ever read. I do think some of his other stuff also has some small panel stuff in them, but I haven't given any of those a go yet. And I want to, now that I've read his work, but I definitely think you have to like space out reading his stuff or invest in like a magnifying glass or something. Like, take this page for an example. We've got up here, fine, I can deal with that. Down here, small, pretty freaking small. And then we have small, quartered. Yeah, that's a little too small for me. And there's still like speech bubbles and stuff to read in these super tiny ones. If this book was not as good as it is, I would have given up on it just based on the panel sizing of some of this alone. If this is a book that you're interested in reading, you might end up in some very funny postures. Like I was like reading this on the couch and I would be like hunched over, like trying to read it that way, or I'd have like the book so close to my face. This book doesn't seem to have an e-book version, which to me would have been great for people who need a little bit ability to zoom. I think it would be a useful book to have an ebook format for, but I don't see one online. So this book is basically a collection of stories, and there's a few different sections in the book, and each section kind of has its own language and rhythm and character focus. But all of these characters are kind of connected through the first character that we see and through the school that we see. So they all do kind of have this starting point where we are introduced to the characters, and then we kind of get put onto these separate tracks looking at the different characters. It's a book about characters and it's a book about life, and it's really fleshing out certain parts of life. And sometimes it gets a little bleak, but sometimes there are moments of warmth and connection as well. This book is something to kind of sit with ambiguity with. It's not a comfortable read. There's a lot of bleakness in this book, and there's a lot of like mundane life stuff, but the characters are done really well. The art is beautiful. I really do like Chris Ware's style. Like, the coloring is great. The simplicity of his characters, like they look so good. I have to say I really liked and it was only in some of it, but there were some pages where there would actually be arrows to guide you in terms of which way to follow a panel. Loved that. Have to say that was something that I've never seen in a comic and I really, really liked. Yeah, overall, I thought it was a really great book in terms of the diving into these characters. But it is uncomfortable in terms of not knowing what's going on until you kind of get further into it. And you do also have to be okay with like incomplete stories, and you also have to be okay with some melancholy. So I would say like it's definitely a vibe, but it was very interesting to experience, like just going through certain parts where you're like, what the heck is going on here? And then eventually kind of figuring out almost like the language of that part of the book. There's like specific, each like chapter section of the book for like where we're focusing on like a specific character, basically. Each of those has their own rhythm and their own feel and their own almost like a language. Like they're looking at things in their own way and it's kind of jarring to flip between like, okay, I'm like learning about this person, and then it's like, oh, okay, we're kind of just left at that point and we're going to somebody else. It was something to kind of get used to on that end of things, but I really appreciated these snapshots. I really appreciated how well they were done. The characters themselves, like their likability was variable as well. Like I feel like there were some characters that I really liked, and then there there was one character that, like, I it's like, "Don't make me feel bad for this guy. How dare you?" But okay, fine. So this book kinda left me a little bit like I wanted more. I wanted some of the other characters to get a little more fleshed out. But it's it is a long book. Like it's a 356-page book. So it does things in detail, but then there are certain characters that I would have liked to explore that didn't get that detail. I would say the closest that I've read to him is probably like Adrian Tumine, um, and they're quite different, like Adrian Tamine, like I read his short story collection. But in that like way of just kind of delving into different characters, it was kind of similar, similar kind of feel of melancholy. It's something that I can definitely see some people really loving and some people really not vibing with. Like I really liked the aspects of the art, the flow, the formatting. I really liked the um way that it did make me sit with discomfort, the way I did have to kind of ride out things and wait to understand them, wait to figure out what's going on. It almost feels pretentious the way that he has things so tiny. But I also appreciated the book so much that I'm just like, I guess this is just something we deal with. So let me know if you've read this book or if you've read any of Chris Ware's other works, because I would be definitely down to try some of those if I can get my hands on them. And if you haven't, does it sound like something that's up your alley? So I don't know about pricing in other places of the world, but right now in Canada on Indigo's website, this book in hardcover with over 300 colored pages is on sale for $12. $12 for any hardcover book is like wild to me. So if you're considering it, definitely see if it's on sale where you are because what the heck?